and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 3 between oGsMC and IMMVP. These two players obviously an extraordinarily high caliber, and they are very, very interesting to watch. My name is Coffee Break, and I am not alone here. With me is Sleeper Cells. How are you doing, Sleeper?
I am doing absolutely incredible because I'm casting a game between IMMVP and oGsMC, both phenomenal players. Actually, MC, of course, being one of my favorite Protosses to watch in general. And I gotta say, I absolutely love this matchup as well. Unfortunately, the last game didn't go as well as it could have, unfortunately, for MVP. So he's got to be, if this was indeed a series, he's got to be hitting himself. And I feel like he's going to be playing a lot better in this game.
Indeed. Now, in that last game, what Sleepers is referring to is the fact that MVP made a refinery and rallied his command center to it, and eventually had 10 SCVs stacked up on that one refinery. And obviously, that is just not optimal mining.
Well, it's to the point that at that particular point in the game, I can't see how you couldn't have seen that, just simply because there's really nothing else to look at, because your scout SCV is already back home, and you're staring at your command center. I mean, that's pretty much all you can do at that point. So it's interesting to me that he actually did not notice that for as long as he did. So that was very unfortunate for him. But like I said, should be seeing a completely different game out of these two players here. I feel like MC's definitely going to have a lot of harder time defeating MVP in this particular game.
Indeed. Now, let's not discount MVP in that last game, though. He did have a very nice build. What was that? Was it a 3-gate robo into 5-gate or something akin to that?
I believe it was something like that with pretty much pure immortal. No Colossus tech was made, I don't believe. And it does look like it will be a Nexus first coming out of MC. Protoss president dropping the balls on the floor. He's going to go ahead and go for a very, very bold move here with that Nexus first. And we're going to see if MVP can punish MC for that.
Yes. Now, Antigua Shipyards, not the biggest map. Oh, and cancels his gateway by accident. That has got to hurt. Antigua Shipyards, not the biggest map in the ladder. Not the biggest map. However, we did spawn in these cross positions, and anytime you spawn in cross positions, you do have an ability to at least think about doing something like this. Now, whether I would actually do it, if this is a best of 5 series and he's up 2-0, that would be a great time to do it. But still, definitely very risky.
Interesting decision on MVP, though. It looks like instead of going for something to punish MC for going for that expansion, he's instead just going to go ahead and be a little bit of a gentleman here, wrongly, I think, and he's just going to go ahead and take a later command center, whereas MC's is already done. MVP's is only about halfway complete, and he really could have punished that with that gateway cancel.
Yes, he could have. I wonder almost if MVP might be thinking about doing a quick double expand, as he does have 2 command centers on the way, one in his base. Now, I know that he often does build that 3rd command center in his base, but I'm wondering if in this game he might lift it off a little bit earlier and put it over at that 3rd, as the 3rd in this map, much easier to defend than on other maps, say Tal'Darim Altar, where you have kind of a long stretch between your 2 bases. You kind of have to decide which ramp to defend. In this case, if you just kind of put your units right in the middle, right here where I'm looking right now, I know you can't see it, Sleeper, but if you put your units right there, then you could really defend both your bases extraordinarily easily.
Indeed, I'm assuming you're talking about this little middle area here by the giant hole to nothing.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Yeah, it's a great little area. The only thing you do have to worry about, of course, is these back rocks in your 3rd. Those do come into play quite often if it does get into the later stages of the game, which, of course, as this is totally 100% happening live, we have no idea that there's a replay timer, which I'm assuming you have minimized, because that'd be the smart thing to have.
Yes, I do, and I also have an overlay over it, so we're good to go there.
Wow, you have an overlay. Nice work.
Once again, I would love to give a shout-out to T in the chat, who is making all of my overlays for me. Thank you very much for that.
It's a cool guy.
Yes, he is. We do have a tech lab going down on this first barracks. That tech lab just finishing up. Nothing researching out of it immediately, but I'm sure we will see something fairly shortly.
What? MC. This guy, I don't actually know how he managed to do this. I guess his expansion was quite a bit earlier, but he's actually about 10 harvesters ahead of his opponent here. 35 probes to 26 SCVs. He's definitely Protoss boss here, definitely getting quite the economic lead here.
I think the correct term would be Protoss Baller Boss, as yes, he is so far ahead in that right. 9 Harvesters ahead at this point in time, and that is with 3 command centers on the field. And even with 3 command centers, 3 orbital commands, that is triple mule power, MC is ahead in the income.
And it looks like he feels like he's ahead in the army as well, going for a bit of a push here. But no, one bunker was along with a couple SCVs here, easily going to fend that off. I actually completely 100% love this build from MC. I've actually, I use it quite a bit when I played Protoss. It's the one gate, well, I guess minus the fact that he sort of didn't put the gate down originally. It's the 1 gate expand into 4 gate pressure. I mean, this pressure right here isn't really doing a whole lot except for forcing MVP to keep a couple SCVs at front, keep a couple ideas here, and hold that thought. He's actually moving in here, gonna be able to take out one of the bunkers. Nice little move by him, but that didn't do too terribly much, as there are 2 additional bunkers chilling on the sideline. So MC's gonna go ahead and go home a happy Protoss.
Indeed, and a very happy Protoss, and the fact that he feels safe enough to lay down a double forge. Now, I love double forge play. Allows you to get those really fast upgrades, and in PvT, I feel especially, it is so important to get that armor upgrade as these Marines. 6 damage, but very, very quickly. It's not a high damage unit, especially against a unit that has, 150 health. But with that armor upgrade, you can reduce it to 4 damage right off the bat. Pop a Guardian Shield, you are down to 2 damage against those Zealots. And suddenly the Protoss army, ridiculously difficult to kill.
Yeah, especially when you get up to like the 3/3 upgrades, you're completely insanely powerful. I mean, he is slightly behind in his upgrade simply because the Terran infantry weapons level 1 is about halfway complete. Looking pretty good for MC though, because he does have those double ups against MC or MVP. His single upgrades as well as combat shields on the way for him as well. I do actually, honestly, I hate to pull out in the moment and mention this, but if we do take a look at this engineering bay. And then look at the bottom row and the middle upgrade. Have you ever seen this upgraded?
I actually have once by Dragon because I was browsing Reddit. I actually found out a little bit, like a couple weeks ago, that actually existed, and it changes the way the bunkers look, and it looks badass. And I've never seen a single other person upgrade it. Never once. Which I think
I find that really interesting.
I actually find it interesting because, I mean, yes, it's a 100-100 upgrade, but my goodness, bunkers would just be terrifying in that case. 6
They're
units
already
in
terrifying.
Yeah, indeed they are. Now we do have a 3rd base. I hate to come out of that little thought. That was a great thought. But we do have the 3rd base going down for MC as well as MVP. So MVP's 3rd a little bit quicker because that command center was already made.
Oh, for a second there, I looked at that army and I was like, why is MC's army so freaking small? And then the Stalkers showed up to bolster it, make it look a little bit bigger. Immortals will be coming on the way very, very shortly, as well as a couple additional Stalkers. Observer is chilling over the army of the Terran as well. Gonna go ahead and see everything that's going on, seeing these bunkers, seeing the army composition, seeing the medevacs.
And Blink is done now. We might be seeing a Blink up onto the high ground. Ooh. Oh goodness, there it is, picking up the reactor on that starport. Now the reactor does go down, but not before both medevacs are able to get out. Now coming down, looking to snipe the starport apparently, and not go for the tech lab. Now it looks like he might actually get that starport. Turning around now, fighting a couple of different units. Now all the SCVs being pulled to mass repair, and MC is just going down to Blink down this cliff, trying to get into a position to Blink down. Loses a few Stalkers in that, but gets away safely. The Observer's still alive, but in the meantime, we do have a few Zealots trying to poke at this Marine ball, and it looks like they're going to move in for it. Couple of nice force fields. 5 force fields go down. The entire army was on a move order for a moment there, and there was a load up into the medevac. One medevac almost died with 8 Marines inside. MC, again, coming out almost on top of that engagement, but wasn't quite able to do the damage necessary and has to pull back.
Yeah, those Zealots will be charged Zealots momentarily, though that, of course, does help them get the surface area on the army as quickly as possible. And I feel like MVP's trying to hold on here, but MC's just almost, he's got superior army composition, whereas MVP is pretty much similar on supply, almost identical at the moment, actually. I feel like MC's just in a little bit better position.
I would agree.
And there go those rocks.
I would agree. And now the supply depot is just now going up back here and is seeing the rocks right as they were about to fall. MVP pulls his entire army back.
Debris.
Debris. Whatever. We do have a superior upgrade advantage for MC. It is 1-1 to what is about to be actually 1-2. So I take that back. I take that back. MVP spiting me with that perfect timing right there.
MVP, however, I'm very interested in the fact that I haven't seen any drops come out of MVP. Now I know he is more of the style, of course, of MVP against, say, an MMA who just drops like a crazy person. But still, generally, you'll see a Terran do a little bit of drops every now and then, whereas he just hasn't really had the chance. He's been pretty much backed up against the wall this entire game. And here go those charge lots. Bad force field zone, not allowing those Zealots to get the surface area they need. MC should definitely pull back here.
I agree. Now, we do have Ghost on the way. 3 Ghosts to finish, I believe, and a 4th one should be finishing up fairly shortly here. If he can manage to land EMPs on this army, that could be devastating. Couple of Guardian Shields pop. It looks like MC might be willing to commit in this case. Some fairly decent force fields go down, not quite enough to finish up that, and now the army for MC got split in half by the force fields instead of the army for MVP, and MC is forced to fall back. Oh my goodness.
Engagement.
Yes.
Using a bunch of Zealots unnecessarily there as well. I mean, that just did not work out for MC at all. Those force fields working terribly, and MC is desperately trying to run home. The army for MVP is giving chase, taking about a 40 supply lead here. This is not looking good for MC. All of a sudden, catching a sentry too. That sentry will not go down, but still. Oh, nope, there it goes. There's the stim on a few units here.
And here's the entire ball getting stemmed up now, and there is a giant engagement, and the force fields, there are no force fields left because the EMPs have gone down, and MVP with the superior army in this case, the Archons both dying, and I don't know if there is much left for MC in this battle. He's just going to have to fall back and hope that he can counter this army in a few moments.
MC just getting taken out in this, which is, I'm assuming, is game number 1 or 2 of that series. This is just not looking good for MC at all. He is completely... The tables have turned, not flipped. They have turned. He is backed up against the wall, trying desperately, throwing out as many units as he can. It does look like he will be able to just barely fend off the army of MVP. MVP, however, still having a decent supply lead. 3 Zealots will be running up into the middle line of the 3rd base, however. Going to be trying to do a little bit of damage. Mules were just dropped there as well, and let's see if the react timing of MVP is good enough. Looks like no timing yet. None of the mules do go down, but about 4 to 5 SCVs getting killed there at very, very quickly, and a few more going down as well. When they turn to attack, actually a lot of SCVs going down there. That definitely was a nice way for MC to get back in this game.
Indeed, that was 16 SCVs killed in that combat, which puts a 74 to 54 Harvester advantage to MC. That is quite the economic advantage in that case. But mules being dropped, of course, the mules, the great equalizer. And even though there is a 20 supply lead in Harvesters for MC, MVP has a vastly superior income.
By far. However, I do love this composition for MC. The Archon Zealot with a little bit of Stalkers mixed in there. Absolutely incredible. And if we do look up the upgrades, 3-3 is just about to finish for MC, and Weapons level 3 is about to finish for Terran. But
we do have a 4 Marauder drop into the main of MC, and it looks like they might be able to take down 1 pylon, but not much more until that medevac has to evacuate. 1 more pylon. We have an Artosis pylon on 4 gateways. That could be devastating if MVP exploits that.
I do love this observer placement, of course, from MC chilling out here, seeing the entire army, knowing the position of it. I think MC might... Oh, MC gonna be able to scout these medevacs lifting up, so he's gonna know that's happening, and he's actually gonna move out. I don't agree with this decision. He's moving completely out of position, but there's an Archon and a couple Stalkers here gonna be trying desperately to attack this army, whereas the entirety of the Birdos Ball is actually gonna go ahead and engage what is left on the low ground here. However, MC is about to lose his entire main. I don't agree with that decision from him at all. I believe that's going to cost him this game.
I agree. 4 warp kits got unpowered there, and then immediately all fell. There are only 6 warp gates left, and on 3 base you do not want to be using 6 gates. Now there are feedbacks and storms going down. There was a very nice storms. Those were not dodged at all, and it looks like these medevacs are going to try to retreat. 1 medevac falling with a couple units in it, but the others getting away. MC on a back foot, but now the 3rd base is being taken out for MC. MVP running in with a huge biological ball, stimming up, now focusing down this Nexus, and it looks like they might, yes, they're going to get it before falling out, and now MC down by quite a bit, down by almost 70 supply. It looks like he's trying to corner this army for MVP, and he will get the corner, but it just doesn't matter that much because, let's face it, we're down to 1 mining expansion for MC, and even that is soon to mine out.
And there's another drop in the main as well, taking out another gateway. 2 more, of course, the last 2 on the field going to be taken out as well here. And really, at this point, MC's production has been completely crippled. And just he's going to go and let that army die because he's perfectly okay with that. Because if you look back at the this little choke point at MVP's, between MVP's third and main base, you see an entire another Terran ball has been made.
Now this is the MVP that we are used to seeing. So potent. Just all he needs, Marine, Marauder, Medevac, and a couple ghosts mixed in. Now taking this gold base as with a planetary fortress, which is extremely difficult to penetrate. Now it looks like MC just knows that he needs to try to push out and do a little bit of something. Now he sees that army of MVP and just thinks, oh crap, and he runs back to his base, running. And it looks like MVP is willing to give chase to this army.
Oh yeah, and he's going to be able to pretty much destroy this army if he so desires, but it looks like maybe not. He might go ahead and do some sort of drop play once again. No, it does look like he'll just go ahead and let MC sort of limp his way back home. But really, at this point, this is just looking better and better for MVP. MC just in a terrible position, using a Warp Prism to take off an almost dead High Templar, trying to do any trick he has in his book. But, gosh, MC just not looking good at all. MVP in almost an unlosable position here.
I agree, and now MC actually has absolutely no mining for a couple seconds. Now he does get that Nexus up. He is completely out at his natural. He is completely out of his main. And it looks like MVP is going to push up a little bit with just a little bit of an army, see what's going on, pick off a couple of Stalkers with a Stim Bio Ball, but not too much damage sustained. Now it looks like MVP is actually just doing maximum damage with just a small control group of biological units without even medevac support. Very nicely played. It is now 195 to 116. MC just, I don't know what he can do to come back in this game at this point.
MVP max MC at only a little bit over 100 supply. I mean, at this point, even having a stronger tech advantage to cut it.
Oh, goodness gracious, that cybernetic score has now fallen. So MC, without a cybernetic score, cannot make Stalkers anymore. That is so imperative that he lost that tech. And now a few units being warped into the main to try to clean up this drop. It looks like they will force it back. However, MVP did what he came to do. No cybernetic score being rebuilt yet. That's, oh my goodness. And now here comes the final engagement. The entire biological ball.
GMPs.
Huge indeed, and it forces the GG out of oGsMC in this engagement. MC in this game looked good, but MVP just looked better.
I feel like he overcommitted to that early pressure up at the front, made a few too many units stay there a little bit too long. It was just caught with his pants down. MVP was able to march in with quite a bit of an army and just pretty much walked over MC's standing force. Did not work out for him, well for MC at all.
No, it didn't, and I think I would agree with you that was the biggest moment in the game. But if I was going to give the moment where it shifted momentum, is when MVP dropped into the base and MC had started moving out towards the middle, and MC lost 4 gateways, and pretty much his entire army got split in half, and he just lost everything. So that was Game 3 between oGsMC and QM IMVP. QM IMVP,
well,
IMMVP, whatever. Yeah, it was
probably Game 2.
These games technically got casted out of order. That doesn't matter because they were great games anyways. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight here on the Coffee Cast. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow at 8 p.m. for the Amateur Cast. If you wish to play, come into StarCraft 2 at 8 p.m. Join channel Coffee. That is Coffee with a 0. And if you wish to just watch, you guys know where the stream is. And I will also be bringing in some guest casters towards the end of the night. So if you would like to try that, feel free to let me know, and I will get that worked out with you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Coffee Break. And I am Sleeper Cells.
And I'm some other dude that showed up.
And I once again thank you for joining me here on the Coffee Cast. And this is Coffee Break, signing out.
Peace, guys.